Without further ado, let's start the webinar. For this session, we have Yasa Adimulya, Senior Equity Analyst from Philips Securitas Indonesia, to present on the Indonesian Economic and Market Outlook 2024 and review of the Indonesian stock market. Without further ado, let us welcome Yasa. Hi, Yasa. You're still on mute. Please unmute. Thank you. There you go.
Okay. Hello and good afternoon, everyone. It's great to see you all. Thank you for coming. My name is Yasa Adimulya, and I'm responsible for the economic analysis here at Philips Securitas Indonesia. Right. As you can see from the screen, our topic today is Indonesia Economic and Market Outlook for 2024. Kok nggak mau ya? And the presentation is divided into separate parts, and we will kick off our presentation by discussing growth in the third quarter 2023, and we will continue with our forecast for growth in the 2024 and our presentation with top picks for 2024. So let's dive right in. It is fair to say that Indonesia has been successful in navigating the macroeconomic fallout from exogenous global shocks. Indonesia economy grew at 4.94% year-on-year in third quarter. This is slightly decelerating from growth of 5.17% in second quarter. Growth in the third quarter was supported by private consumption, which is grow at 5.06%, and also investment, as you can see from the chart. Meanwhile, government spending and net export gave no positive contribution as they contracted 3.76% and 10.44% respectively. And private consumption, although the growth of private consumption in third quarter was marginally lower than in the previous quarter, it remained above its pre-pandemic level, which is at 4.9%. Consumer confidence on the Indonesia's economic outlook stayed high as inflation continued to ease by moving back within the 2% target of Bank Indonesia. Gross fixed capital formation or investment expanded 5.7%. This is the fastest clip since second quarter of 2021, when it surged 7.5%. The solid growth was mainly driven by a number of ongoing national strategic projects, including the construction of Nusantara, the new capital of Indonesia, as well as direct investment by domestic and foreign investors. Direct investment realization skyrocketed 21.6% in third quarter. Compared to previous quarter, direct investment realization rose 7%, with foreign direct investment rose 5.3%, and domestic direct investment jumped 9%. Government spending dropped 3.76% 76% in third quarter, after rising 10.57% in second quarter and 3.45% in first quarter. For the first 9 months of 2023, government spending grew at 3.12% and accounts for 6.64% of the overall GDP. Government spending priorities are geared toward enhancing productivity and safeguarding the public with adequate budget support provided to preserve purchasing power through energy subsidies and compensation programs. The state budget is structured in a way that 20% of the government expenditure goes for education and 5% is allocated for health, 14% for infrastructure, and another 14% for social protections, and 1% for defense and security. So those are the building blocks of Indonesia's state budget. International trade, trade balance, the surplus of trade balance shrank to $36.9 billion in 2023 from $54.4 billion in 2022, as export slumped 11% and import fell 6.5%. 93.8% of Indonesia's total exports came from non-oil and gas sector. Non-oil and gas exports sank almost 12% last year, while oil and gas export, which account for 6.15% of total export, was relatively flat, dipping only 0.7%.
Hi, Yasa. Sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt. It would be so great if you could share the slides that you've prepared as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Thank you. I'm sure we'd all love to see that.
You don't see the slide?
No, not right now, no.
Gimana nih? Slide-nya nggak kelihatan. Hold on a moment, yeah.
No worries. Once again, for all our participants, our speaker will answer some questions later, so stay tuned for that. Questions with the highest number of votes will be answered first. Thanks. There you go. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay.
Fantastic. Please continue. Thanks.
Okay. Okay. So, international trade, trade balance surplus shrank to 36.9 billion in 2023 from 54.4 billion in 2022, as exports slumped 11.3% and import fell 6.5%. 93.8% of Indonesia total exports came from non-oil and gas sector, and non-oil and gas exports sank almost 12% last year, while oil and gas export dipped only 0.47%, so it's stable. 25% of Indonesia non-oil and gas export was shipped to China, making it the Indonesia's biggest main trading partner. The US and Japan are holding 9.57% and 7.76% share of Indonesia export market, respectively. Import consists of 83% non-oil and gas and 16% oil and gas import. 33% of our imports came from China, followed distantly by Japan at 8.8%, European Union at 7.5%, and USA 4.9%. Balance of payment, Indonesia balance of payment improved in third quarter, despite increasing global economic uncertainty. BOP performance was supported by improvement in terms of current account deficit and capital and financial account deficit. Consequently, the position of foreign exchange reserve at the end of third quarter remained high at 134.9 billion US dollar. In addition to trade balance surplus, current account improvement were also supported by a narrower service trade deficit, as inbound of international tourists to Indonesia increased given the ongoing tourism sector recovery. Capital and financial account performance also improved despite rising global financial market uncertainty. The narrow capital and financial account deficit was supported by direct investment, which is indicative of positive investor perception of the promising domestic economy outlook. In terms of financial account, other investments also recorded a surplus due to an increase in external debt to finance corporate sector activity. Meanwhile, portfolio investment recorded a larger deficit in line with capital outflow from the stock and bond market, triggered by increasing global financial market uncertainty. So now we go to the fourth quarter. The data has not been released, so this is our projection for economy in the fourth quarter and also for the next year. After looking thoroughly at high-frequency data available, we believe that growth in fourth quarter would likely give us a surprise to the upside by expanding 5.21% year-on-year, the fastest since third quarter 2002, which is growing at 5.73%. Previously, we thought that the fourth quarter, the economy would be further weakened, but after looking at the data, we are confident that economy would grow faster than we thought. So we revised up our forecast for fourth quarter. If you can see from the chart, Indonesia manufacturing PMI solidly remain expansive in fourth quarter, albeit with slower pace. So the orange line is our projection for the fourth quarter GDP. If you look at the imports, imports of consumption goods, indication for domestic demand, and import of capital goods, an indication for the corporate capex, held up pretty well last year by increasing 8.6% and 7.8% respectively. So this is one of the reasons why we revised up our fourth quarter, because if you could look at the chart, the import for the consumption and the capital goods start to point north, which is very encouraging. Retail sales registered positive growth for 7 consecutive months, in line with well-maintained consumer confidence in economic conditions. Meanwhile, the domestic car sales at retail level, it's below 1 million units last year, but due to interest rate hike by Bank Indonesia in the second half of the 2023. But this is still in line with the long-term average of the automotive sales. If you look at the long-term average would be close to 1 million car sales. So I think for the next year, the number of cars being sold would exceed 1 million units, especially if the monetary policy start to loosen up. Interest rate hikes in November 2022 and October 2023 has not put significant dent on the demand for bank loan. As you can see, bank loans still growing at a quite rapid pace, yeah, despite aggressive interest rate hike by the central bank. Usually, it takes at least 9 months to absorb the impact from the interest rate hike on the banking system, especially on the loan growth. So we need to wait a few more months to see the full impact of the last tightening cycle by Bank Indonesia. But so far, the bank lending still growing quite strong. By lending by types, consumption loan growth has been steady between 8% till 9% since the mid 2002, while working capital loan growth has picked up pace since June 2023. Investment loan trended lower, yeah. It maybe because corporations prefer other means of funding, such as corporate bonds or initial public offering. If we scrutinize consumption loan data thoroughly, we can see that mortgage loan growth has been creeping higher since April 2023, while at the same time, auto loan growth has been gradually and steadily decelerated. Multi-purpose loan growth has been hovered around high single digit of 7 to 8% in the second half of 2023. We also expect improvement in export performance in the fourth quarter 2003 as commodity prices, here represented by the S&P JSCI index, mastered modest rebound in the second half of 2023. So we project Indonesia economic growth to continue to decelerate into the range of 4.71% to 5.11% in 2023, and to the range of 4.63% to 5.03% in 2024. As you can see by the orange bar in the chart. As the world economy is grappling with sluggish growth and softer international trade as a result of geopolitical uncertainty and high cost of finance. Private consumption will be the primary driver of growth in the 2024, especially by the election cycle spending and also planned civil servant salary rise in 2024. The end of the commodity cycle boom and higher for longer global interest rate prospect exhibit strong headwinds going forward and limit the macro policy space. This is our forecast for 2023 and 2024 compared with other forecasts from or issued by institutions, government, or international. So if you look at the number, it converts to 5%. Yeah. So yeah, the consensus Indonesia economy would grow around 5%. In terms of policy stance, Fiscal policy remains prudent with no major spending boost despite rising revenue collections, but pressure is building on debt service. The external debt ratio continued to decline and stood at 28.9% of GDP at the end of last year. And state budget deficit would be kept below 3% of the GDP next year in order to maintain fiscal sustainability. So we cannot hope much from the government spending next year because they are consolidating fiscal to prepare for the next crisis. The focus of Bank Indonesia's monetary policy is to achieve the inflation target of 2% to 4% and maintaining USD IDR's exchange rate stability to ensure that global shocks cannot disrupt national economic stability or growth. Higher for longer global interest rate prospect and related external pressures have led Bank Indonesia to prioritize tight monetary stance last year. The transmission of monetary policy so far ran very smoothly in the money market, as you can see from the Indonesia, and from the bond market, especially at the short end of the yield curve, such as the 2-year Indonesian government bond. They are responding the monetary policy very quickly. The monetary policy tightening geared more towards managing external pressures by raising the policy rate spread against the U.S. federal funds after it had reached an all-time low in 2023. Inflation has been on a downward trajectory throughout last year, and well within the Bank Indonesia target band of 2% to 4%. In 2023, inflation slowed down to 2.61% after surging 5.51% in 2022, which is the highest since 2014 when inflation reached 8.36%. Bank Indonesia is confident enough that that inflation will remain under control. It is lowering its inflation target for next year to 1.5% to 3.5%, as you can see from the chart. We expect inflation rate to approach the upper band of the Bank Indonesia target by fluctuating between 3.35% and 3.65% next year. With the assumption that the GDP growth at 5.21% in fourth quarter, our calculations showed that BI rate at the end of 2023 was consistent with its tailored rule-based target. That's why Bank Indonesia is in no rush to cut interest rate. We suspect that Bank Indonesia would begin lowering BI rate as early as April 2024 or after Federal Reserve cut the federal fund rate, whether it's in March or April or second quarter this year. The Bank Indonesia will follow soon after that, because they want to maintain the spread between BI rate and the federal fund rate. Now we go to the capital market. During August and October, we saw massive foreign capital outflow from both domestic bond market and equity market, pushing the rupiah to weaken to 15,800 per US dollar at the end of October from 1,500 at the end of July. Some of that foreign capital return to domestic market in November and December, triggering a rally in equity market. The Jakarta Composite Index gained 4.8% in November and 2.71% in December as a result of the foreign capital return. Last year, bond rose or gained 8.65%, outperforming stock, which is rising only 6.16%. For the first time since 2020, as you can see from the chart, over longer period, since February 2017, bonds also outperform equity, with the cumulative return of 78.7% for bond, while the Jakarta Composite Index only has cumulative return of 37 or of 0.4%. So for those who have diversified their portfolio with bonds, this would boost their portfolio return last year. The Jakarta Composite Index rose 6.16% last year and finished at 7,272. This is lower than our forecast, with base scenario of 7,495, but higher than our bearish scenario, which called for the JCI to be closed at 7,119. The gray shaded area point to major market pullback that occurred in the past. Written by sector, most of the best performing sector in 2022, such as energy, industrial, healthcare, were being reversed to be the worst performing sector in 2023. So there is a sector rotation there. Transportation and consumer non-cyclical almost completely erased gain made in 2022, while technology remained in slump. Momentum was gathering strength in financials, real estate, and material as they turned positive last year. Compared to its regional peers, the JCI performance last year was modest, not bad, in the middle of the pack. Growth stocks rose 3.68% last year, extremely outperforming value stock, which nosedived 16.13%. Rising growth to value ratio indicated rally in the JCI is powered by growth stock. Growth stock generally see stronger performance during the later stage of a cycle, when economic growth starts to slow and when uncertainty may be higher, driving investors to favor companies that do not strictly depend on a strong economy to maintain growth in earnings. And consumer staple versus consumer discretionary. Consumer staple rose 0.82% or flat, but still outperformed consumer discretionary, which contracted 3.46%. Consumer staple companies indeed tend to have a stable revenue, as demand for their products is not subject to wild fluctuation due to changes in the economic cycle. In terms of valuation, the Jakarta Composite Index valuation is undemanding, and it was traded at 12.9 times PE ratio at the end of 2023, far below its long-term historical average of 14.71. The cheap valuation of the stock market also being confirmed by the bond equity earning yield ratio or BER, as it falls below 1. When earning yields, in this case 7.71%, is above the 10-year government bond yield, 6.46%, then equity markets are seen to be cheap and vice versa. And these are our projection for the stock market in 2024. As you can see, our projection consists of 3 scenarios: bullish, base case scenario, and also bearish. In bullish scenario, we see the JCI rose 14.6%, while in our base scenario, JCI only rise 9.4%. Meanwhile, in our bearish scenario, the JCI only gained 5.6%. When the JCI break above its 10-month moving average line, the JCI usually move uptrend for extended period of times. In other words, we are confident that the major uptrend in the stock market remain intact and would likely to continue well into 2024. And we arrive at our stock picks for 2024. So these are our stock picks for the next 12 months. We cannot emphasize enough that these stocks are not intended to be used for day trading or timing the market. These are for the long term. So we advise our clients to take longer investment horizon. And let me briefly elaborate more on why we choose these stocks. TOTL is a construction company and has the highest profitability ratio among private construction companies and also state-owned companies. Bird or Bluebird it has strong presence in major cities in Indonesia and has extended its services from regular taxi to car rentals, bus charter, logistic, and property. So they are well diversified in terms of business. IPCC operating in 3 out of 4 main ports in Indonesia, specializing in handling car and ro-ro terminals. It is supported by increasing growth of vehicle export and imports. JSMR, it is the largest toll road operator in Indonesia with 47% market share in terms of operated commercial toll road, which has length of 1,260 kilometers. The toll road operator also is a high entry barrier business, since toll road industry is highly regulated one and also a capital intensive one. TBLA engages in a plantation business with 4 main products categories, which is palm products, consists of CPU and palm kernel, palm cooking oil, sugar cane, and biodiesel. Right now, Indonesia is experiencing acute sugar deficit with consumption of 7 million tons per year, while production only reached 2 billion tons per year. So there is a severe deficit of sugar in Indonesia. RM, leading producer of high-quality Kretek cloth cigarettes in Indonesia. We expect a slower increase in excise duty this year. Any increase in excess duty would be easily transferred to consumers. and GGRM also poised to benefit from a benign inflation rate in 2024. IMES is a pure integrated automotive business company. The automotive industry often receive incentive from government ranging from relaxation of sales tax on luxury goods to value-added tax subsidies of up to 10%. ELSA is a subsidiary of Pertamina, Indonesia National Oil Company. It is a pioneer of oil and gas upstream services since 1972 in Indonesia. Next is SHIP. It is a provider of marine services, specifically offshore fleet for the oil and gas industry. It owns and operates floating storage, offloading, gas tanker, oil tanker, LNG tanker, and offshore support vessels. SMCB, a subsidiary of Semen Indonesia, the biggest cement producer in Indonesia and Southeast Asia. SMCB stands to benefit from improvement in housing market as interest rate is most likely trending lower this year. Support also comes from a government bond value-added tax for home purchases priced below 2 billion rupiah from November 2023 until December 2024. TSPC is a pharmaceutical company. Healthcare is a defensive sector because it has constant demand and is somewhat insulated from the economy. We prefer pharmaceutical companies than hospitals because pharmaceutical companies provide more stable revenue growth. And lastly, CTRA, it is a developer, a property developer. And Bank Indonesia decided to extend the loan to value or financing to value ratio relaxation policy for property loans of until December 2024. This allows prospective buyer to pay no down payment when taking the home ownership loan facility. So from the fiscal side, the government give a subsidy for purchasing home, and from the monetary side, the Bank Indonesia gave lower loan to value ratio so that the prospective buyer do not pay down payment when they take a mortgage or home ownership facility. And these are our stock pick for the shorter period of time, for the first quarter of 2024. So we are neutral on most sector, industrial, financial, energy, and material. We are overweight on healthcare and real estate, and we underweight consumer staples. So in summary, we expect economic growth to decelerate to 5.11% in 2023 and 5.03% in 2024. Inflation in 2024 is estimated at 3.35% till 3.65%. It's close to the upper band of the Bank Indonesia inflation target. And equity market is expected to rise 9.41% in 2024 according to our base case scenario. That would be the end of our presentation. Thank you very much.